Well, it's really interesting too to see what impact the Chinese Australian voter had on the election. Can you tell us a bit more?
This is a very interesting story. I think the electorates in Australia across, the western coast, including in Victoria we have Menzies, Chisholm, and in New South Wales we have Reid and Bennelong, are the seats considered as the key swing seats or marginal seats because voters' sentiments are always unpredictable. This year it's the same, like a lot of people say, Chinese Australians, because they are all concerned about cost of living, they would vote for the Liberal Party, given that there is such a theory in the Chinese community that they think the Liberal Party and the coalition government is more good at dealing with the economy. But what's interesting is that a viral video clip that was translated, subtitled, on Chinese social media, WeChat, Red, and TikTok, featured an interview. This is an interview done by Channel 7's Sunrise program with two guests. One is the Labour's Claire O'Neill and Liberals Senator Jan Hume. But in the interview, Jan Hume actually claims that Chinese Australians being volunteers for Claire O'Neill at the early polling centre are Chinese spies. Given that the context and the full interview was translated and subtitled, it went viral and it created a lot of anger and fury. Many people were claiming that they would not vote for the Liberal Party because their loyalty has been tested and has been targeted one more time. And I think this is a really ugly smear campaign, trying to target Chinese Australians and, in the way to win more votes from probably, the anti-China or the voters who are more concerned about national security. So that has become a very interesting scenario, and the result is also significant. I think we can see all of the Chinese Australian dominant electorates have flipped into the Labour Party, and that is a significant result.
In particular, is there an electorate that stood out to you in terms of the impact of Chinese Australian voters?
I think Kooyong is still very interesting. By the time we are still chatting about this now, we still haven't got the results for Kooyong yet. But the reason why we can see that a lot of Chinese Australians are going to Kooyong to be volunteers for the independent candidates is because they really appreciate the amount of work that they have done for the community. With this language and cultural barrier, for a lot of new migrants, when they settle in Australia, it's very difficult for them to understand a completely different system in a very efficient way. For example, how does Medicare work? How does the superannuation work? When you face racism or when you face security concern, how do you speak to the police? What's your expectation when you are working on this? It's all a lot of problems that, things people want to get an idea about it. And I think a lot of voters from Kooyong told me they would really want to see a second, term for Monica Ryan as a independent MP as well, because they think she really helped a lot of people in the past. So that shows some interesting message that Chinese Australians, as the key swing voters within the whole federal election debates, they are not really voting for the race of the candidates. It's not because you have a Chinese candidates and people would vote for them. They are actually becoming more mature and they know who they support because of the policy.
Fascinating to talk. Thank you so much, Bang.
Thank you, Yvonne.